There's a lot of parallels, I think, that can be drawn from the brief that we've just given in terms of the transition of a professional rugby player into normal life, and the idea of a serviceman transitioning into civilian life. I made that transition at the back end of 2012. Because I fell into the Alan Lamb vortex that just draws people in and spins them around and finds them doing stuff.
I've got a couple of questions. I said to you earlier, in terms of age, compared to a lot of us here, you're very young and still relatively young in your playing career. When did you consider and think about, what if I haven't got what it takes, what do I do?
Well, my parents were sort of guiding me on that and sent me to uni and said that's the right thing to do by going out and getting your education, having something to always fall back on. The tutors at Hartpury are very supportive and understand that there's a lot of guys there that are going for the rugby and they need to do that studying alongside it, and they were supportive of me and understood sort of where I was going with it, and they backed me through it, and my parents were also very supportive through that, and I knew that I had the backing of that degree, that it did all go wrong or I didn't quite make it. I had an opportunity to go and use that degree, put that degree to good use, and now I know I'm a little bit ahead of a lot of the players at Gloucester now, because I've got that behind me before I started my professional career. If I went home and all of a sudden whipped the beard off, I think my girlfriend would be asking some questions and I'll be getting a lot of flack from the boys. But we have up and down days, me and the beard. I haven't named it or anything, but sometimes I look at myself and I think, what are you doing? But I've made a decision and I'll stick by it until I'm fitting out on the pitch. So fingers crossed it's sooner rather than later.
Stephen's actually got a bachelor's degree in business management. So very well qualified here to talk not just about rugby but about business. So opening question covers both. Bit disappointing season-wise on the pitch this year. So how's that affecting the business performance as a whole of Gloucester Rugby?
Yeah, no, it's massively disappointing. Not a bit. I'll be a bit more blunt than Tom was. Yeah, so very, very disappointing. But in terms of how's it going generally, believe it or not, although we're 10th at the moment, although we've still got the Amlin Cup to go at, it's been a fantastic year for the club as a business. We don't shout about that, we don't tell people about that, particularly because I'm a supporter of the team and have been all my life, and there are times when you have to use your emotional intelligence, and if we were top. Our mission statement is to be a top 4 club, both domestically and in Europe, whilst remaining profitable and self-sustainable, and that's really key. That drives a lot of the things that we do. We have a new loyalty system which we're launching this year with our new season cards. But just those little things, when you're a business like ours, which isn't huge, we'll turn over about £12 million and we'll only make a profit. Last year we only made a profit of about 300,000. That's a very small business in the real world. However, in rugby, it's a very successful model. So we've got all the new revenue streams. We've got a lot of new robust kind of cost cutting measures, but without impacting on customer experience. And we've changed a lot of partners. We've got new security partners in, new catering partners, and these have driven costs down. But we've changed other things as well, like the Legends Lounge in 1873, and we've got a number of innovations and initiatives going forward to try and attract new customers and supporters to Kingsholm as well, because that's very important for the legacy.
Touched on it briefly, the profitability of the club. Just how big an impact is the performance on the pitch on the overall profitability of the club?
Well, the way that we're set up is effectively, I guess it's a virtuous circle. To have a successful team, a successful playing department, you have a successful playing department, you have happy supporters, granted, you have happy sponsors, therefore you have continuous investment, which gives you a successful team. So there's a virtuous circle here. And to answer your question directly, we can sustain an indifferent season, which we're having this season, in the short term. The impact is obvious though. The impact is on attendances, it's on next year's season ticket holders, it's on box holders, it's on bar spend, it's on all of those other bits of collateral damage, which obviously we don't tell everybody about and burden people about, but it's fairly obvious. Our supporters, in my opinion, are the best in the Premier League. They're loyal, they're vociferous, but they understand their rugby, and they've largely stood by us this year, which is credit to them, because it has been fairly tough.
What efforts are they making there? And what can the community, the business community, do to help you and them make the most out of the World Cup coming here next year?
Gloucester first. We're really looking at it from a legacy perspective, so there's certain things that we want to try and build in whilst we've got the world watching Gloucester at that time. So we want to engage people, get as many people to Kingsholm as we can. So we're looking at various projects such as bringing in Wi-Fi into the stadium, potentially building a little Gloucester Rugby museum in and around as well, because we're going to have a lot of tourists coming over from Japan, from America and all these other areas. And what Gloucester has got is a great DNA and a great history, and people are very interested. We've been here since 1873, one of the oldest club grounds in the world, etc. So we want to engage people while they're here. And there's a legacy piece as well. And the legacy for us is to get people who visit Kingsholm at the World Cup to come back to Gloucester and become a Gloucester supporter and really engage with us and be the supporters of the future. And secondly, is to get as many people as we can in Gloucestershire playing rugby, engaging in rugby, whether that's women's rugby, whether that's wheelchair rugby, whether that's men's or lads rugby. So we've got a number of schemes that we're going to be getting involved in to ensure that there are more people playing rugby, and they could be the Tom Savages of the future. The more people out there playing, the better. There's a project in play at the moment where Alex Brown is working with Josh to see how we can accelerate getting our players involved more weekly with our sponsors. First and foremost, we've got a brilliant range of sponsors, with our box holders, with all of the massive range of creative businesses that we've got in and around Gloucestershire and surrounding areas. But what we're trying to do is bring that together and actually call it something.
And it's number 132. 132. Everybody, look in your pockets. Oh, fantastic. 94? Oh, perfect. Another photograph.
Right, we've got Sean Pegler from Randall Pay. Congratulations.
Thank you everybody again. All three speakers, Paul, Tom and Stephen, thank you ever so much for coming out. Thank you not just to you, to all your teams who helped us set up. Thanks a lot.